Hey folks, welcome back to another HP Gaming GameLINK video. I know it's been a little while and I apologize for that. We've been trying to enjoy a little bit of time off over the start of the new year, but we are back with a vengeance and we're starting with a Kickstarter in unboxing for you today. We're going to be slinging around some plagues, spreading some havoc, and even a little bit of madness as well as we take a look at the expansions for Joey Vigour's GROWL, Madness and Plagues. Hey folks, welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, and you should by now, my name is Matt. Welcome to 2022 and to our HP Gaming GameLINK video channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you very much. Welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. As I said in the outset today, we are looking at an expansion to the wonderful werewolf game GROWL by Vigour Inc. This is the expansions, two expansions in this box, Madness and Plagues, and it has been plagued by name and also by nature. There's been some massive delays on this one, but mostly due to COVID, to other providers and distributors causing trouble for the game's publisher. But look, having said all that, it is here, it is in my hand, so let's get down to the table and take a look and see what is in this unassuming little box. And there it is, a very small, unassuming box, Madness and Plagues. It is still in its shrink, obviously. It's just arrived on our doorstep here. Two expansions in one. I know Joey, the producer, Joey Vigour, has been set upon by massive delays. But look, hopefully when he launches his next project, it's going to be just as successful as this one, and hopefully with the same quality as well. I think, you know, it's going to be, I mean, I still love that artwork. That's still great. For those of you not familiar with GROWL, it is at its core a werewolf-style game, secret roles, secret identities, social deduction, all that wonderful jazz. But this one adds two expansions to an already great game, and it looks like they're going to be quite crazy. So let's have a look. Rip off the shrink, and as we all know, the plastic goes on the floor. So you can see here the Madness expansion adds over-the-top social interaction to the game where you have to behave like crazy people. Funny enough, it's called Madness, who knew? The Plagues expansion adds heresy tokens and new plague-themed night cards, because at the end of each round a certain card is pulled. There's a night phase where cards get passed left and right, and you're never really sure who is on your side until the final growl of the game. So this little box here, oh, look at that. Thank you for supporting independent game creators. You are most welcome, Joey. We appreciate it, and we appreciate the fun stuff. Monsters and the things that destroy them. Ooh, I like the sound of that. It's like a bit of a bluffing game, double bluffing game. And then you've got Bad Koalas, which is looks like another project that he's looking at getting sorted. Now in here we have the deck box itself. I'll come back to those in a moment. The cards, tokens galore. We've also got here, oops, don't want to lose those. I'm getting too many tokens everywhere. So the box here has a nice little insert as well, which you can, it is removable. I think it's removable, maybe not, yes it is. So you can insert that into your box. It's got here Madness and the Plagues, the little symbol expansions there. I'm just trying to get a shot of that so you can see that properly. So if you wanted to, you could effectively put the GROWL expansions in this box and take just this box with you rather than the big howly growly box if you backed that, which we did in the original game. So you've got all the different expansions there, sins, 7 sins, undead, etc., spells, curses, and the like. Nice box, nice, simple, does the job, does what it says it's going to do on the box, which is fantastic. And then basically it's a deck of cards. Now the expansion rulebook is here. This is the initial preparation, which cards you take out, how you separate the cards into their sets, etc., how you set it up based on player count, plays expansion, token effects, Madness expansion, what they all do, how to set up the game. And you can, I believe, combine both expansions into one. These expansions, I believe, are designed to play with a minimum or best play count of 5 players. We've got all the tokens here for the different things. We'll leave those for now. They have unfortunately come out of a lot of the punch board, but that's okay. And there's a reason why I say it's okay. Usually it's not good to have things come loose in transit, but in this case, it's okay because, as always, we've got a few extra bits and pieces for you. So let's get into the packs of cards, or the pack of cards. Plastic again goes on the floor. Let's see what we've got here. We've got standard GROWL cards for the draw. We've got some, what looks like more curses. Madness cards, separating them out into their decks. I do like the coloured backing of all the cards, which is awesome. Plagues for the night. And then you've got your final plague. That's the other thing about this game that I really like. The night cards, there are different versions. So as you play through the game, the night cards are randomized each game. So you don't really know what crazy effects the night cards will have until they are upon you. Now this is a translation. So this is a Curses expansion, because I believe the Curses expansion is included in this box as well. And then translations there too. So the GROWL cards on the back, they have all the monsters there pointing the finger. Who's the werewolf, who is not. You got this crazy, crazy werewolf in the clouds, which I just love. It's still so great. And you got Frankenstein, Fishman, all the rest of them causing trouble. Then you have got here, let's see, we've got Madness cards. Let's do Madness first. Most of these are Madness cards, it looks like. Yeah. So the Madness expansion allows you to create chaos via social interaction, interpretation, and that sort of stuff. So in this case, you've got triggered by gifts. When someone gifts you a card on their turn, trigger one of your Madness effects that begins with ... And this is a card you cannot pass. Madness expansion, and I think that just means it's first edition GROWL or something like that. And then is it the same one? Shy. When speaking to others, you cannot make direct eye contact. You must agree with every single accusation or theory that you hear. Now, these are bites as well. That's why that symbol's there, because effectively, if you have 3 bites, you would go mad, I would imagine. And they cause you to do crazy things. During the night phase, you can't pass 2 cards with a wound icon or 2 cards with a bite. It has to be one of each. 1 sentence only. Each time you say a sentence, you can't say another one until someone else speaks to you. Raise the pitch of your tone or voice a bit. When someone asks you a question, begin your response with absolutely or definitely. When you receive this, subtly rotate your Madness trigger card 180 degrees. Again, you can't say yes or any derivation that starts with Y, like yeah or yup. You can't say the name of any card except to fulfill Madness effects. You can't say human or werewolf. You may not fake madness like everyone else at the table will be. You must always lie. You can't lie at all. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so these are bites. So if you were to take bites and wounds, you would obviously cause trouble. This adds a bite icon and a wound icon. So you can see there's little sayings on the side there. So if you have that triple dot, that card, when your Madness effects when someone gives you a card on their turn, trigger one of your Madness effects. So open your eyes wide and stare at someone until you have their attention. Overconfidently agree or disagree with somebody. Defend yourself or accuse someone else. Shield yourself from the oppressive light or sound. I like it. I love it. Duplicate the action or phrase that triggered this. Sit up tall and then slump down again. Make a quiet animal noise. This is absolute chaos. I love that. Straight and organized things. Put the fire out on your clothes. Can you imagine that, sitting there playing a game and then all of a sudden you just have to there's a fire. You just have to put yourself out. I love that. Laugh at something that's totally unfunny. Say a sentence about yourself in third person. Swat invisible flies. Scratch the insects under your skin. Giggle without smiling. Each time this triggers, the sound gets louder. Repeat the last sentence like a parrot. Wink or stick out your tongue at somebody. Hum or whistle a few song bars. Use the word wound in a sentence. Use the word bite in a sentence. Use the word werewolf in a sentence. Human. This is a spell. Place it face up in front of you. Your name is Tasty Human. Anyone who calls you anything else must discard a card with a gold icon. Otherwise, they die. Whoa, this just got really crazy. Hairy werewolf. If they don't call you that, they die. You're a human. You can't pass a card with a wounds icon. If you're werewolf, you can't pass bites, I should say. On each of your turns, you may not give the card you draw to the same player who just received one. Whisper when speaking, or else speak at any volume, but keep your jaw closed. The strain. Oh my gosh, absolute chaos. Chaos, I say, and I love it. So these cards will go into that side of the box there. Now, I believe these are Madness cards that are effectively new home tiles. So in the base game, there was a blue home tile per player. Blue on one side, red on the other. Red denoted that you were dead. You could still win the game even if you were deceased. So here you've got a Madness card. And then you've got, oh, so they've got different. I do like the back. That's quite cool. So they're different. When another player says bite. Oh, so the different sentences. When 3 or more players are speaking at the same time. So the cards that you play continue on the sentences here. Wow, different effects as different things happen. When there's a lull for more than 3 seconds. Oh, this is fantastic. When another player is addressed directly by name, then you have one of those other cards that goes in that causes trouble. Oh my goodness. So there's so many different ways. When another player laughs, when another player points at someone or points at an object. So you can then inspire or set up how your madnesses are triggered. Wow. This just got a whole lot crazy. I love that. Okay, let's have a look at some curse cards. I think these are, I don't think they're new curse cards. I think they're part of the same curse expansion that was in the original Kickstarter. Yes, they are. So you've got Wicked Salves. Now the salves will negate wounds, but obviously having a few extra, no, maybe they're not. So I don't remember the Wicked charms there. Maybe I'm wrong. Promise Ring. Mark of the Condemned negates all your wound icons, but doubles all your heresy. Heroic Wound. Disenchant. The Black Cat counts for 2 gold. Bad Deed. Good Deed. Fairy Circle. And Resurrection. Give this to a dead player or discard and redraw. Rejoin play. While this is active, you cannot die. Wow. So you can bring someone back who you think is human. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's have a look at some new night cards. Now, the night cards, as I said, are drawn throughout the course of the game. There's 2 of these that are shuffled into the main deck and 1 red one, which is the final Night or Plague. And they are designed to cause a bit of absolute chaos. Bad Moon. Night falls during this night. Humans are allowed to pass 1 bite card or any card with a non-pass icon. However, no player can pass both a card with a bite and a card with a wound. Hunter's Moon. During this night, each player who passes a wound card or a bite card must also pass a copy of the same card to the other side. What does that say? Those who die tonight may spend a card with a wound icon to a player who survived. May send one. Wow. Choose a random cards to each player who does so gains a randomly chosen spell card from the spells expansion. Draw again if you don't own spells, then discard this and night falls. Oh my goodness. I knew it was going to be good and add quite a bit of crazy to the game, but I didn't realize it was going to be quite so crazy. So what have we got here? We've got some cards that have these little folks. These look like bonus undead cards, maybe? Is that what that is? Yes, they are. So the little undead cards that add to the undead expansion. So you've got the Mimic, draw all of the discarded undead cards, play one of them, shuffle the rest, then discard this. Dream Walk, look at any player's hand, then move up to 2 spell cards that are in play to another player. Shame. Target a player who could be a werewolf or a human. Point this card to privately guess which team they are on. The other players close their eyes. If correct, they die. Other players opens their eyes and then you discard the card. Wow. That's a good way to take out an absolute threat, hopefully, on the opposition. Which of course changes throughout the game as more and more people are turned into werewolves. Now the plagues act similar to night cards, obviously have crazy effects that cause trouble. Plague of Locust, each heretic discards their spell cards. Those who had fewer than 2 spells must then discard a card with a salve icon if possible. Clear the plague tokens and then night falls. Plague of Livestock, so these are all similar effects. Plague of Frogs, starting now, plague tokens are not removed after resolving a plague. The heresy compounds. That would cause trouble as well. Splits their hand of cards into 2 piles of any sizes. so you can actually split your hand and then obviously have more trouble. Plague of the Firstborn. The heretics suffer no immediate effects, but they are marked for death. They will die immediately prior to resolving Final Night. Clear the plague tokens and night falls. Plague of Boils. Ew, that's a bit gross. Seven Sins expansion. So these are all designed to potentially work with the other expansions of the game as well, which is awesome. Clear the plague tokens and night falls. Each heretic from this round cannot win the game unless they fulfill their final win condition and at least one Wolf Zero is dead, even if the heretic is Wolf Zero. Wow, so it really is going to cause you to make sure that you target the right wolf at the right time. Final plagues. Plague of the Righteous. Final Night Falls. 3, 2, 1 vote. Who's on whose team? Plague of Retribution. Plague of Fire. Plague of Darkness. Cancel all your previous win conditions. So obviously the rules of how you win the game change as the night goes on. Heretics win with +3 heresy. Oh, heretics, sorry, with +3 heresy gain a wound. Heretics with 6 gain 2 wounds. Then non-heretics with 3 face-up plague cards gain a wound. Final Night Falls. 3 wounds and you die unless you have ways to negate them with salves. So there's lots of ways to be eliminated, I guess, and not a lot of ways to win. Now these are plague tokens. So on the one side they are our little friend here, the Plague Doctor, and on the back they've got +1 heresy, etc. So you saw before, the amount of heresy you have will directly impact how the game plays out. They are a very thin chipboard. They're not flimsy as such, but they're not exactly, you know, the most amazing things in the world, but they will serve. Ignore any spells that are cast against you. So here we've got +1, +1, +1, +3, -3 plus a wound. That's a bit dangerous, but I love it. Put those ones there. Then we've got here +2s, +4, clear all the tokens. So you can negate all the tokens that are on the board, minus heresy marks. So you might have a condition where you have to have the most heresy to win the game, or whatever the case may be. Reveal 3 cards, ignore spells. So here, these are the different tokens that mark the cards from the different expansions: curses, 7 sins, undead, madness, plagues, spells. Why the tokens are there? These are tokens for advanced players. The tokens that land face up reveal which expansions you combine in your game. That's very cool. I like that. So you turn them all face up or face down, so you just literally flip them all together. Whichever ones are face up are the ones you're going to play with. I like that. That's very good. It's sort of like a new way of doing your randomizer cards if you were playing something like Dominion and trying to choose which things to use, which piles, merchant piles to use. Again, all your heresy tokens there, and another clear tokens thing as well. Now the tokens are nice, which is great, and I love them. And they're not. Look, okay, I'm not going to rave home about them. These ones are fantastic. The plague tokens, they're obviously going to do what they do, but they probably could be made of a better material, which is why, as an add-on, you can get these. Now these are smaller versions. I think if you've played Splendor or Splendor Marvel, you know what I'm talking about. They are little chips, I guess, rather than in a chipboard. They're actual chips. And they have all the bits and pieces on them. So you've got your heresy Doctor Plague symbol on the back, and then you've got the different things on there, and they make a much more pleasant noise, and they are just, I mean, they just look fantastic. If I take some more of these out, I love that. I mean, that's just so fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Love it. It's brilliant. So we'll put some more of those away. Oops, don't want to go dropping those. And then the final bits and pieces that we've got here, I've got a little something extra here, because in the game of Growl, if you're playing multiple rounds and you are successful, you will receive tokens based on the number of gold you collect. And if you play multiple rounds, at the end of, say, the 3rd round, whoever possesses the most gold wins the overall game. Now, that's if you're playing competitive. You don't have to. You can play just 1 round, and that's usually enough fun and excitement. But playing with the gold just adds a little bit extra. Having said that, when we backed the original Kickstarter, we only backed, we backed at a higher level, but we only got cardboard gold tokens. So for this new expansion, we had the opportunity to go back and collect some of these. Now these are obviously metal coins, and there's even a few of these fellas here, which are 3. They've got that same wolf face that you saw in the clouds. The 3s are like a proper gold. The 1s are a bronze. Let me just split those up for you there so you can see a comparison. I love it. It's so good. So you get a 3 and a 1. And metal coins are just the best. I love it. I'm such a tactile person. They make such a great noise. I'm digging it. It's fantastic. But that is everything we have for Growl, Madness and Plagues, the expansion. I'm digging it. The Madness one intrigues the hell out of me. I really look forward to getting it. I think it's going to be amazing. But look, let's come on out. Let's pack this up and I'll give you some first impressions on what we found in the box. Oh my goodness, there you have it. That is the entire contents of the expansions Madness and Plagues for Growl by Vigour Inc. Joey has put in so many hours. The playtesting has been ridiculously hard to do social deduction games, obviously being in lockdown across the globe. So to have a game that has 2 new expansions that bring so much. I mean, you heard my reactions when I was looking at some of those Madness cards. That's going to be crazy and an absolutely insane time, and I am all for that. Being able to play this with some folks, my D&D crew would love this game. Being able to do some really stupid stuff purely to pretend that you're mad, but then again actually be mad. It's going to be almost impossible to tell the difference, and I'm digging that. It's fantastic. The metal coins, I'm so glad we upgraded because, I mean, don't get me wrong, the chipboard coins in the base game are actually thicker than the chipboard tokens that we saw for the Plague tokens. The gold tokens in the base game are actually better than these ones in terms of manufacture and product. Having the gold metal coins though, can't go wrong. Very happy with that. The upgraded tokens, the upgraded Plague tokens, the actual chips themselves, that's fantastic as well. If you backed this game and you didn't get these, you're probably missing out. I hopefully you haven't made you have any sour grapes. But hey, who knows, down the track when the next expansion or next campaign launches from Joey, you might be able to get out there and get into it, and maybe, you know, who knows, you might pick some up. I am hoping that in the not too distant future, here in Melbourne at least, we'll be able to get out there and be able to have social deduction games with large player counts like this. Growl is a game that plays very well with 4. I haven't minded it with 4. Charlotte and I were learning it at 4 players and it worked okay. But playing it with a large number, playing it with 10, that was a great time. So to see the Madness expansion with the player count of 5 or 6 players who all have great personalities and obviously have D&D characters and role-playing is in their element, that's going to be a great time. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays. If you got this far, folks, thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate you sticking with us. If you're one of our Patreon subscribers as well, thank you very much for all your support. It means that we're allowed to do some crazy stuff, and thank you for letting us do all the fun stuff that we get to do. If you haven't already, folks, and you're interested, by all means, hit that subscribe button. Help us grow the channel as best we can. We thank you very much for your support in advance. Check back soon. We'll have more videos, more unboxings, Marvel Champion stuff coming your way, including an Arkham Horror LCG Redux. And I'll explain a bit more about that in the not too distant future. Until then, folks, get back to the table, play more games, be nice to each other, even if you go a little mad, and we'll see you very, very soon. Till then, it is bye for now.